Greetings, welcome back. This video is kind of a mix sort of thing. I was busy over the weekend and didn't get around to putting it together. So I'm putting together my footage from the weekend here, but also it's kind of an apology of sorts. I battle and struggle with comparing sometimes and seeing how good other folks do and how they have it, and then looking at myself and getting a whole little case of the woe is me. And I struggled with that a little while. I even thought about just forgetting trying to do all this YouTubing, vlogging channel thing and just throw it on the heap of another failed project. Anyway, just a lot of hard things I went through this weekend, and leading into the weekend. It started with I had applied for a position that would have been a step up in my particular current career. I wasn't chosen for that, but there was potentially the offer of kind of a lateral move sort of job, and in the process of discussing that, I discussed certain academic sort of positions, because I've got a master's of arts in Christian education. Eventually went and got my teacher certification, which gave me a second master's, a Master of Arts in Teaching. And I had always sort of entertained the notion of one day getting a PhD, maybe being a professor of some kind, but I think I'm kind of going through the stage. Most of the time there's a three-part sort of process or so of a vision that a person has, or a dream or a goal. There's the birth of it, then there's the kind of death of it. And for a believer and a Christian dealing with this idea of a vision, it may feel like, oh, it's all futile, it's all lost, there's nothing I can do. And then you come to the other side of that, which is the resurrection or the rebirth of that vision. And you kind of realize that the whole point of the process was so that you would not think it was something that you just brought about in your own strength and your own doing, that it was something that God did in your life, because if it was something that you could just do with your own talents, abilities, and stuff like that, then, what's the point? Where's God and all that? And so, it may just be the death of a vision and it'll come back. I don't foresee that with the way that the world's going right now, and so anyway, but some things about that. Anyway, this weekend, my wife, she graduated actually last spring, and she was afforded the opportunity to walk during the 2021 graduation ceremony. They offered that opportunity to them, so she got to walk for her master's this weekend, and I have some video clips of the ceremony thereof. Going into the weekend, we decided to part with my old automobile and get her something that basically would fit the whole family, because our household, there are 5 of us that live here, including my mother, and so sometimes comfortably getting somewhere with everybody in a single vehicle is tricky, and so she got something that had enough space for all of us, and it's very nice and it meets her needs. And so we traded in my get to work car. I call her Go Tamago, the little yellow thing, because it was about the same color as Go-Go. And anyway, it got me to work and back. So I've inherited her old vehicle, which was a Toyota RAV4, and so it's nice, you know. I can't complain, but well, I probably will find a way to anyway. But once I got some of the annoying safety features taken care of, we're okay. But anyway, so it was a bittersweet mixed emotion, because I both am happy for her and celebrating with her accomplishment and her achievement, and at the same time I'm kind of feeling like a lot of my hopes and things that are going are just kind of falling apart. So I guess how best to explain. When we first rolled up at the graduation, Leanne, of course, had to go and get lined up for the processional. And I was scanning the crowd. I saw my friend, who was a professor there, and we talked briefly, but of course he had responsibilities, so he had to go. And so then I'm looking across a crowd of very few people that I even have an inkling of knowing. And of course, the first people I see are a family that
Leanne Pringle Young, Educational Leadership.
used to be in the one and only full-time church ministry position that I worked in, at a church that, well, I just won't name it right now. It's still kind of a bitter pill, the way in which we ended up leaving, or being made to leave, and so it kind of dredged up some of those feelings, seeing them, of course, you know, being personable and pleasant when we were talking and all, but it just brought all that memories, like stirred up sediment up to the top. And then I saw two other people who are both pastors with doctorates that I've worked with or been in same groups or associations with in the past. And one of them, of course, is a little bit higher on the political ladder, I guess you would say, within the denomination, and they were friendly, personable, knew my name and stuff, and I'm not sure that the second one that was with them actually even knew who I was, even though I'd seen him a couple of times recently. And so there was that. Of course, that tied back into the whole thing of like those PhD feels and such. And then the ceremony was long when you count two different graduation groups. Now, of course, of the 2020 folks, there were only those that had said that they wanted to participate were available, but they ended up cutting a few segments out of the event, but it was still things started at about 10 o'clock, and we weren't out of there until well after noon. But anyway, I've got it condensed for you here in video, at least the parts that I was there to see. There was one other thing, and it's just totally unrelated. It was just my brain. So I'm scanning over the program, and of course they have certain professors listed in the program, and one professor that was actually one of my professors in my undergrad of course, they have the names of their um, professorships, their chairs or whatever within the program, and I'm looking, and this one particular chair, and it was for a religion professor, but it had a name, and I know it's not the same person, but it was just like the name was the same first and last name and middle initial. I don't know if it's the same name, but it's the same middle initial of my ancestor from my heritage that came over in the 1700s from Ulster provinces of Ireland. And so it was just kind of like another one of those, like, oh, that's so cool, and yet not anything that I'll probably ever experience. And so, yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry I haven't done much as far as content. I'm really kind of at a loss. I really was going to do the media thing, and then the copyright thing threw me for a loop, and I'm just not at a place where I really think that my fitness journey and such is very interesting right now. But anyway, let me know if you think I should continue doing this, if I should quit while I'm ahead. Um, I'd be glad to know some thoughts out there, some thoughts from people that are listening. Also, please, if you have not already, subscribe, notifications, and such. It helps me grow this, helps me know that people are actually interested, listening, care. Um, however you want to take that. But possibly till next time, thanks.